Hello guys, this is Ian with VIII and welcome back to the channel. Today I have something a little unconventional. It is not related to disc golf, it is related to my computer. So for over 2 decades, I have used whatever parts my brother has given me in terms of computers. And my current PC is actually updated in 2015 was the last time the last update was 2015, so it's been 7 years, and I used some parts from his old computer and I just ordered some new parts and just put it together, and including a new case because the case he had for me was this big. And yeah, I'm not sure how he was able to fit everything in there, but he did, and I finally bought myself a case, and that was one of the upgrades. So I've always spent a good amount on RAM. So I always had either 16 or 32 gigs of RAM at all times due to my video editing priority. And this year I finally am going to, as you can see on this table, I'm going to build a PC that is not using any of my brother's old parts. I have 2 USB drives here. This one is for the BIOS and this one is for Windows 11. And then here are my tools and my gloves. And now I'm just waiting for the case to get here. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and flash the BIOS. And then, yeah, I'll put it together and do a little kind of video for you guys to see. This will not be a detailed video. I'm not a professional PC game builder. I do this for fun when it's time for me to get a new PC. My turnaround rate for new PCs is like every 7 to 10 years, depending on what kind of parts I purchase at that time. So for example, all these parts are probably gonna last me more than like 10 years versus 7. Because my last PC, I really skimped out. It was only 600 bucks is what I spent on my last PC, and it lasted me 7 years. But I also use some parts from my brother's computer. I'm going to flash the BIOS right now. This particular motherboard has a BIOS flashback button. It also has a USB port specifically for the BIOS if I need to do a BIOS update. So this button allows me to do this without having a CPU in the CPU socket. However, I do have to plug these in. This is the CPU power, and this is the motherboard power, obviously, to make sure that, because some motherboards won't run, it won't actually like turn on and do any kind of updates if these are not plugged in, because it thinks that there's no CPU power and it just has an error code. So I have that plugged in. We're good to go here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in right now and try to do a BIOS flash really quick, and then we're going to go ahead and put the whole computer together. All right, I'm going to turn this on. We should see some lights right on here. There we go. I see some lights there. Okay. And then I'm going to give it a moment here. I see lights up here and lights up here. That means we have power. Everything looks good. It's red. So we're going to go ahead and push this and hold for 2 seconds. So this light should be flashing. And it's going to flash and it's going to look for the... there's my flash drive going. Let me see if you guys can see that. My flash drive is lighting up, which means it's reading the file from my flash drive. So I already downloaded this BIOS update, the file, I believe it's called CAH, from ASUS website. And so therefore that part I did off. I mean, I'm not a PC like YouTuber or anything, so I did all this right, so there's not really detail, but I figured I'd just show you guys what I'm doing. And then so this is so much nicer. In the past, it would be such a pain in the butt with old motherboards anytime you wanted to update the motherboard's BIOS. So this has the I/O shield on it already, and it's such a nice I/O shield. Like, it's actually just already built in, and it's not that flimsy little aluminum piece that goes on the case. So it's really nice. It's such a nice board. I've never had this nice of parts of PC before in my life. So yeah, this board, look at all these USB right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 USB, 9. This one I'm using here, 10. 11 USB connections in the back, and then I got a Type-C right here. I got all my normal audio, a wired LAN, as well. And then there's the Wi-Fi, and those, the antennas are in the box still, so I haven't removed those. So this is going to take a few minutes. I'm going to let it do that. I'm going to go ahead and unbox my case, and then I'll get back to the video when this is done. Okay, BIOS has completed. It did fine. There was no issues. There was no solid blue light, which is a good thing. We want blinking, and then when it's done updating, it will turn off, and you know it's got the most updated BIOS. So now we're going to put everything in it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, but I can't believe how small this is. This is insanely small. So I got to get my tools out here and do some stuff. I'm going to go ahead and remove this shield right here, because I believe this has two M2 slots, and I believe the first one's here, and I want to put it the one that's closest to the CPU. So let me go ahead and do that right now. And these do not need much torque whatsoever to get them off. The computer parts, they're so tiny, and they just don't require much force to put them on or take them off. It's just not like your normal tools, you know, or on a car or anything like that. I'm not sure if this one's going to come off. It's probably not going to come off. I know that some of these modern oh, of course it's got another one underneath it, because why wouldn't it? It should be underneath here. God, I hope so. There it is. Yep. Alright, we're going to go ahead and stick that thing in here now. Plug it in like so. Alright, got the first screw in. It's always the first screw that's the tricky part. And again, these do not need to be tightened down like crazy. They just need to be hand tightened and not too tight, because you can crack something or break. Sometimes I think people have broken these boards before. Alright, let's put this back on. I don't have another drive for here, so I'm not going to bother with that one. Put this back on. God, these are so tiny. Sometimes it's because I've been working on my car a lot as of late, so sometimes I forget how tiny these screws are. And a long time ago, I used to work on this while this thing's in the case. And yeah, clearly I do not do that anymore. Especially with these new NVMe drives. Definitely could not do this while this is in the case, especially an all black motherboard like this. Alright, so I got the mounting bracket on for the AMD board. This is the old bracket that was on this motherboard. I took it off. It was attached to the board by these two brackets right here. The CPU fan comes with instructions on which bracket or which way to turn the bracket to use to go ahead and attach it to the motherboard that you have. And then there it is. There's the 4 standoffs right there. And those came with the fan itself. So now, here's the CPU fan. We're going to peel the sticker off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test to make sure it actually fits on this thing before I put the paste on. And yeah, it looks like all the corners fit just fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the paste on. And then I will go ahead and put this cooler on before I attach the fan back to it. Alright, the CPU fan is on. These bolts are spring-loaded, so don't tighten them all the way down, compressing the whole entire spring. It's not meant to do that. only tighten it down to where it stops right down here, and it should be spring loaded. The springs should have some give on it as well. The fan is now on. The fan is facing this way because I'm going to have the other fans pulling air through, and it's going to suck the air in through the cooler, and then it's going to exit towards the back of the case. So now it looks like a little mini city that's being built as we go along. All right, next I'm going to put the RAM in the slots. This fan's protruding out a little bit, so luckily this board, I can do the slots 2 and 4 here, which, because I only have 2 of these RAMs, and which is more than sufficient, like way more than I need for my video editing and some PC gaming. So I'm not too worried about this fan. And there's more stickers, which I don't care for. So, wow, these look really nice. Holy smokes, that is pretty. Wow. These RAM, so in the past when I used to get RAM, you don't have this cover. You literally just see all these little chips in here, all these little soldering points in here, and it's just the board. You don't, there's nothing. Yeah, this would not fit in here. What the heck, man? Would it fit in here? I'm not gonna put it in here, but I'm just curious. Yeah, look at this. It's just not gonna happen. That is crazy. Luckily, I don't have to worry about that. So we're gonna do slot number 2. And we should be able just to push it down and not have a problem with this. So let's see here. Putting new RAM into new plastic pieces on the motherboard is always a challenge. Oh, that's a perfect click. That is such a satisfying sound. Let's do the next one here. Oh god, that's such an awesome sound. It actually looks really good like that. Alright, the case has arrived, and I gotta tell you, this is supposed to be a mid-tower rated case. I don't know about you guys, but this mid-tower is almost the same size as my full tower, my old full tower. And I said earlier in the video I went with white because I wanted something different. And my god, this looks so beautiful in person. It looks way better in person. That is, it's such a gorgeous looking case. And these screws, that's pretty cool. They don't fall off. Let's see if I can get this thing off. My old one slides, so hopefully this one slides too. Not sure if this slides or what. Let's see here. Okay, so it's got arrows here telling me to push it out. I tell you, oh, there we go. Ho ho. So I've taken the other side panel off, and I'm going to take this glass piece off so that it makes things a little bit easy for me to work with. And you can see right there, it's got the Corsair logo, very rubberized piece there. Very nice touch. These new cases are no joke, let me tell you. It's got tape in here. I'm also going to take the front glass panel off as well, just so I don't have to mess with it while I'm putting the PC together. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. That is nice. Man, wish cases like this were like this in the past. This is phenomenal. All right, this is the part where we get to put this guy right here, the big city that we just built, into this box. And the motherboard. The case comes with a bag of screws and a bunch of straps and a bunch of extra little screws and extra standoffs for the case should you need it, depending on which case you have. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this thing in here right now. First, I would recommend removing this cover off on this iOS. This cover right here, before putting it in there. All right, hold the wire. There we go. Perfect. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 9. Sounds about right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and screw these in, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I love this white and black so far. I'm loving this. When you're putting these little screws in, you do not need to go that far down. It tightens really quick, and do not over tighten these because you will ruin your motherboard if you do so. I can't wait to show you guys what it looks like in a moment here when I'm done, because this blacked out motherboard with the Coolmaster Black Edition is looking sharp with this white case. And I am actually really happy how this is turning out, because at first I was like, oh my god, I'm so used to everything black, and I'm actually gonna go with the white this time. I don't know how this is gonna look with a black motherboard, but quite honestly, it's looking good. Go ahead and show you what it looks like really quick here. And that's how it looks. So yeah, that looks really sharp, and I'm loving it. I'm loving how sharp that looks. All right, so that's how it looks with the motherboard inside of it. I am actually loving that. Oh, that's just a mesh, magnetic mesh. Yeah, that looks pretty good like that. I am excited about it. This bronze material, whatever it is kind of annoying. I'm gonna go ahead and put the wires in. There's a whole bunch of wires back here. I'm not gonna show you that part. It's kind of like a tedious part of the build. Okay, so all of the front panel of the case has been hooked up to the motherboard. So there is USB-C right here, USB 3.0, and the power switch, power reset, and power LED lights are all hooked up. So they are good to go onto the motherboard. I'm gonna go ahead and install one of these fans first. It comes with this lightning node core here, but I don't think I need it because I think there's plenty of connection in the back of this this case. So here's what the fan looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and install it right here. Okay, that is with the power supply hooked up. Here is the power supply. It's black because again, I bought whatever's on sale. The white ones were expensive or out of stock or just ridiculously priced in my opinion. So I got the black one. It looks okay. I mean, I think it would look better with the white in this in this instance, but it's matching with the motherboard's I/O plate right there. So I think we're good to go. The last thing I have to do is put the GPU in here, and then we can start her up. Okay, there we go with the GPU. These wires are really ugly looking and I can't stand it. I'm probably gonna have to order some custom wires. These are not done. I'm going to probably get some custom wires and get these out of here because my god, this looks awful. Guys, this is part of the video where I have to pause and let you guys know that in the midst of all this build, in the midst of recording all of this, I've added some few components because they went on bigger deals, bigger sale. So for example, this was on sale when I bought it, the Ryzen 7 5800X. And then shortly after I started this build, this went on sale, $300 off of MSRP on this one. So I went ahead and bought that instead and then exchange it for the Ryzen 7. We got to remove this cooler. That's not going to be enough. I've been running the 5950X and it runs a little bit hotter, and I haven't even put it in under that much load yet. So this fan does get a little loud. So I went ahead and bought a liquid cooler. It's just not a custom one. It's just, you know, AIO. This is my first time that I'm going to be using an AIO, and so I just want to unbox it and show you guys, and then we're going to finish the build and we'll finally get to the end of this video. Sorry it's taking so long. And then I also added some RAM in here because that same RAM that I purchased went on sale again, and so I wanted to finish the build and get the 4 sticks in there. Memory, GPU is still the same. So now let's see how the case is going to look after we put all the liquid coolant into this case. Not using Intel. AMD AM4 socket. That's what we're using. I'm using this one. And we got 1 fan, 2 fans, 3 fans. Oh my god, that looks gorgeous. There's the radiator. Yes. Components look very nice. I won't take this off yet. That looks really nice. Last but not least, screws. Okay guys, that is pretty much my build. I'm not an expert, I told you that from the beginning. I'm just an enthusiast that has been running through trials and errors and just like to build my own computers. And yeah, that's pretty much my entire video. So I ended up with the Ryzen 5950X instead of the 5800. Basically, this computer is going to last me till whenever it craps out. Because I switched CPUs, I had to go from an basically a heatsink slash air cooler to a liquid cooler, which is what this is. The reason why I ended up purchasing this instead of other brands is because it's just easier to deal with when this particular case is already set up for the RGB fans, and the connection is so seamless and so easy. And this thing comes with the Corsair core module, and I wanted 6 fans. I wanted 3 fans here to push the air up, and I wanted 3 fans on top to pull the air out. Because of that, this particular box, even though it doesn't come with 6 fans, it comes with only 3 fans. It actually is set up for 6 fans, which is super convenient, and I didn't have to fiddle with other manufacturer's software. This case is intended to be used with iCue, and I downloaded iCue to control the 4 fans that are in here, 3 up front and 1 in the back. So when I booted this up, after installing everything, the radiator and the 6 fans, it actually, I didn't have to do anything to adjust the lighting. It actually just mimic whatever iCue had already set up for the other 4 fans. So that's how convenient and seamless this iCue software is, and that's why I went with this setup versus other coolers. On top of which, this particular cooler has 4 mounting points versus 2. Some of the coolers that I was going to buy only had 2 mounting points, and I was concerned about whether the whole entire plate would actually touch the whole entire CPU. I haven't really messed with this plate yet. I think I like the black right now because my whole motherboard is black and I got the whole black and white scheme going on, so I might leave it alone versus the clear one. But who knows, maybe I'll change my mind later and put the clear one in, and then that whole thing would light up more, I think, versus a little bit of highlights only. So yeah, so that's really the only change from the first day of build to the end of this build, and that's it. I'm done. I'm not putting anything else in this case. I will let you know that this particular case, and you're going to find a ton of reviews and a ton of builds online for this, but this particular case made it very easy for me to put this 360 cooler in here, 360 radiator in here. I don't know if other cases would make it this easy, especially with a push and pull system, because this particular case has a cutout on top, and that also allows you to put 3 more fans up here to do the pull. And so with that being said, when I had the air cooler in here with the 5950, it was running 10 degrees Celsius hotter under idle, which is what it's doing right now. Is I'm having it run at idle, and with this setup, just got done installing it, and it's running 10 degrees cooler already with the radiator and the 3 fans. And I really haven't overclocked yet, so I would imagine that it would probably be the same thing. But I did notice that under the air cooler, it was running much hotter than, and I was like, okay, maybe I should add more fans, but I was more concerned about the CPU overheating than the rest of the computer in general. That's pretty much my build. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have any questions or concerns, I can try to answer them for you, but I don't do this for a living, so it's probably best to look at other YouTubers who do this for a living. And if you do ask me these questions, and if I know somebody who knows the answer better than I do, I will link the YouTuber for you so you can watch it. But this is primarily a disc golf channel, and I just happen to build my own computers, which is one of my primary equipment that is behind the scenes of many of my disc golf videos. And I wanted to show you guys a glimpse, and it's a little different, and see a different side of me, rather than just disc golf every day. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.